No peacemaker is a peacemaker until they find peace with God. Now watch this for a second. I got to thinking about this. And people, you think just for a second. People can be at war with God their entire lives. Whether you know this or not, when the gospel is presented and you turn it down, you're at war with God. Brother Adam even will pick up natural signs. And I know I'm not going to preach this, but I'm just telling you what he said. Every woman out here today that paints their face, he said that's a sign that they are at war with God. He called it war paint. Now that's not popular, but it's still right. If you sit around the message church and got a backslid preacher who won't tell you the truth, it's still the truth. They defy the things that a prophet of God told us. They defy it. But why is it when it comes down to where they are helpless and hopeless and they come to their deathbed, why is it at the deathbed the question is always asked, have you found what with God? Peace. And they say, well, I hope they found peace with God. And they identify when you're dead and you're dying and there's nothing else you can do for yourself, that's the time to find peace with God. Now here's my statement. Yes, it's true that you'll never find peace with God until the hour of death. But you don't have to wait till physical death to die. You can die right here tonight upon the altar of God. Die to yourself and find peace with God. Die to your own thoughts. Die to your own ways. And here's what I'm telling you. You will never find peace with God until you die to yourself. That's what the prophet said. You won't even be born again until you first die. He said you got to die and you got to rot. But as long as you think you got some thought coming, you're going to be at war with God. And I know what it is to be at war with God and to struggle with Him and to fight with Him. And what it boils down is His will or your will. What it boils down is His thoughts or your thoughts. It boils down God's way or man's way. Yeah, you can find peace with God. Every one of you can have it. I mean that full assurance. That peace that passes all understanding when you're willing to die. But you don't have to wait till you're 80 years old laying on your deathbed. You can be 20 years old tonight and die to yourself and find peace with God. Amen, church. When we die to ourselves, we've already found peace with God. Don't let that religious cloak fool you. A lot of people sitting in churches at war with God. But that war can be ended by the people who are the possessors of peace. You have the answer to troubled hearts. And listen to this. That war cannot stop between a man and God until it stops in his own heart. That heart is where that peace must start. Don't start up here. Forget that intellectual stuff. You know as well as I do, them intellectual powers ain't holding nobody in this hour. I'm watching. They're like a bunch of, they're up and down, in and out. Why, Brother Ben said, why Christians are so tossed about. I know why they're tossed about. They ain't got peace in their own hearts. It's all up. Look, brother, the day is over. I'm done. I don't care what nobody. I'm done with this stuff of trying to intellectually pump this message in people's minds. That ain't done nobody no good. Made a lot of church members. That's all it's done. But brother, the only time that this message has power and effect is not when it's in people's mind and they got their intellect stirred up. It's when it gets down that heart and changes who a man is. Then you ain't got to beg him to live right and do right. The do-righters down on the inside of him. He's got peace when everybody else is troubled. I'd like to see a man that brother stands there with a peace of God in his heart. All hell going on around him, but there's a tie post down in there that ties him to Christ. I like seeing that. I like seeing a man that knows where he stands. Brother, mercy don't separate itself from truth.